Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger with the life we love. It's Wednesday, story day. Oh, so there's this rabbi, perfect for Passover, right? Who, although he's keeping all of the basic kosher laws and following all the different mitzvahs to do, he's like, I'd just like to have a piece of pork before I die. Just know what that's like. Because the only way to do this is go to some town 50 miles away from where his home in the synagogue is. He goes in there and he orders some pork products. And of course, what they do is they come out and they serve the whole pig with an apple in it. Just as he's about to like bite into it, the president of the synagogue comes by and looks at him and says, "Rabbi, what are you doing?" He says, "No, I'm not eating pork. I ordered a baked apple, and this is how they serve it." Anyhow, yesterday we started the first of four series of little mini talks on the ego self axis and the idea that there's one part of us that can make a vertical relationship with a deeper archetypal, you can call it divine part of us. But the idea is not to misidentify yourself with it and take it to be your own. That's where you overstep your boundaries, like Phaeton in the Greek myth, where he wanted to ride the chariot of the sun of his father Helios. His father said, it's too powerful. He said, but you promised me anything. So the father said, okay, fine. And of course, he couldn't handle the horses and uh, fell out of the sky and drowned in the sea. So there's something about being a hot rodder, thinking, overextending what your powers really are. The idea is to get close enough to these archetypal energies, but not so close that you identify with them and then they kind of burn you up. Almost like two jet planes that are refueling in midair. You got to get close enough so the nozzle of one that has the gasoline can fill the other one, but not so much that it crashes through your windshield. So once you understand that we have these archetypal potentials, the next thing is to realize how every one of us comes to the teaching with a certain kind of alienation in our ego. Reality has frustrated us. We have inflated expectations between ourselves and how the world should be. And in a certain way, we could say we're like in exile. That's like the fall in the garden. So it's really important to realize that all of us as children were vulnerable. And in some way, maybe we were damaged by the adverse environmental influences that we had, whether it was parental or sociological or cultural or political, whatever. But if that little inner child is damaged in some way, it's so hard for self acceptance to believe that we were rejected in some way. So severe, it's like a torture, an abandonment. And that's why you have all the metaphors of living in the desert, living in the wasteland. Healing is always through renewed contact with your instincts of life. How do you get in touch with your deep self? Well, first of all, hang out in nature is one way. But if you don't do that, you can't find the living source of water. Like Jesus says, I have meat ye know not of. I'm not just talking about stuff that's on the physical level. So if you have a lost life, a meaningless life, if you feel alienated, don't worry, that's a prelude. That's the beginning of the self's attempt at self-realization, self-awareness. So it confronts you with problems that you would rather avoid. But it also teaches you've exhausted all your own resources. You're impotent by yourself. You need a higher power, as they say. So you have to learn how to extract from your own inferiority complex something that will eventually be the savior. Like the head of the corner was rejected. So you have to find that thing inside yourself. Understand the balance between faith and works, between going within, milking the introverted part of yourself, and then expressing without, letting the extroverted part of yourself express. And if you do that, you'll end up with a therapeutic experience. But all of a sudden, you've expanded what your problems are into a larger context. And that's where you find the transpersonal source of healing. We'll talk more about that and the self, which is the existence, the pre-existence is already there, of which the ego evolves. So any image that you connect to, each archetypal image carries a partial aspect of what the self is, which is the totality of all potential and the organ of acceptance par excellence. So if you want to find out more about the self, you'll have to tune in tomorrow to see what the next step is after you go through the alienation of the ego. All right. In the meantime, a week from today, we'll be back with Good Vibrations class. The next offering is called Inspiration Dissatisfaction. Go to GabrielHalpern.com and register for that and subscribe to these daily things or tell your friends to. I'd love to see you, love to speak to you. Have a great day.